Beyond Bitcoin Hangouts are meant to give everyone a voice, a chance to speak with others who are passionate advocates for expanding the blockchain's use cases out into the world and beyond. Do you have a crypto community you would like to represent and hold open hangouts for? If so, you might find yourself on the path to owning a stake in Beyond Bitcoin. We are looking for people who care about people who want to bring others together, because crypto communities are people. Beyond Bitcoin is a movement of thinkers and doers in the crypto space. And if you feel you are one of them, reach out to beyondbitcoin@gmail.com for more information on how to debut your community's efforts to reach to the stars and beyond.
Welcome everyone to another Beyond Bitcoin Hangout. Today is Friday, April 14th, 2017, and this is Hangout number 203. So all of the people who are sitting here, many of you have been here for almost all 203 episodes, so I want to thank all of you for being part of this community that has, let's say, I think we've reached a pain point, and we're also kind of nerds, so we really like to look at the disruptive technologies that are available and how the blockchain can work with them and enhance them and help everything in this new paradigm that we're building. I always say that we're building a revolution. But we join here as a kind of a humble meetup. We've started out with maybe 4 people. So for those of you who are running your own Hangouts, it starts small and it builds. But we have had upwards of 100 plus people in this Hangout at times. And we've always had a core group of 30 to 40 people who really love what is going on in the blockchain space. And they like the aspect that they can join up to a Hangout live and participate and be a pundit if they want, or ask a tough question if they want. So we have a lot of support from a great community here, a lot of people who listen who might not join up. We welcome you to join up anytime you would like if you're listening to this. And we allow people to have a voice, to talk about their own projects in the crypto space without having to ask permission or to have to give money to get coverage. These things are kind of important to us. So I want to kind of just reiterate that the people who are part of this community, you've made a service possible that otherwise might not have been possible. And with that said, we go through the RSVP thread where people RSVP, which is on our steemit.com Beyond Bitcoin tag. And we have 4 guest speakers who signed up this week. Going to the top upvoted one is going to be PeerPlays. It's going to be followed by CM Steam from Gridcoin, and then go into virtual growth. And then we're going to Peerity IO is going to be talked about by Crypto Hippie. That said, Data Security Node and Crypto Prometheus. Is Crypto going to be here today, Data?
Today it's just going to be me.
Okay. Well, I know that he's busy, and I know that you're busy, so what I'll do is I'm going to go ahead and step back, and I'll say feel free to give your updates and let everybody know what's going on in this awesome PeerPlays ecosystem and how the crowdfunder is doing and all the news.
Thank you very much, Fuzzy. Good day, everybody. My name is Jonathan Bahai. I am the president of the PeerPlays Blockchain Standards Association. It's a nonprofit association which is dedicated to provable fair gaming with the PeerPlays blockchain. And today's update is a little bit of a review of the past week, plus the what we have coming up next week. In this last week, as we announced before, we closed off an exciting contest we had where we had King's Crown win $1,000 promotional contest. That was awesome. This last week, a lot of in-house stuff has been happening. We've been going through with a lot of contacts in the industry who've been contacting us, getting our story. We're expecting a lot of that to start coming out into publications in the next week or two. This last week, we had a couple of interviews also come out, and also we did a bit of an analysis on what was going on with the crowdfund, because earlier on we were performing as expected, but then it started to slow down dramatically. And so as we looked at the situation, we realized that a lot of it had to do with the format in which we had executed the crowdfunding. Namely, we took a format of requiring Bitcoin holders to manage their own Bitcoin private keys. And statistically speaking, you'd be surprised to know that approximately 72% of people who hold Bitcoin don't hold their own private keys. This is pretty surprising, but this information only recently came out in a Cambridge study, and our format has unfortunately caused a lot of potential contributors to the PeerPlays project to actually shy away. Numerous reasons. Number one being that they're not sure what a private key is, or they only work with exchanges, and thus, because they don't know what a wallet is or what a private key is, they just figure they can't contribute to this. So we looked at that situation and working with our developers, we came up with a solution. And I don't want to get into details about it, but the bottom line is that sometime later next week, we will be relaunching the crowdfund page, and it will enable anyone from any wallet to be able to contribute to the PeerPlays project and have and we will actually have the private keys delivered to them. So this way, you don't have to manage your own private keys, but you'll be able to receive your private keys instantly as you make your contributions. This way, we're able to make an account within the blockchain once it launches BIF. So
That's
this
smart.
is
That's
yeah.
smart data.
I wish I had I wish I had thought of this months ago, but unfortunately,
Learn in the fire, baby. Learn in the fire.
Yeah, that's how it goes. But I guess basically, the format we've taken is much how crowdfunding was done basically in 2014 in the blockchain space. And back then, there were, I'm sure there was a much higher percentage of people who understood what private keys were. Today, however, as Bitcoin and digital currencies have made a larger audience, the larger audience hasn't gotten educated on how their own digital currencies work, how to secure them. So they rely on third-party services like exchanges and other wallet providers, which don't give them access to their own private keys. And thus, in our situation where we're launching a new blockchain, when you send a contribution, we're relying on the fact that you have those private keys to validate that you have made that contribution. So that is how the format has gone to date. That's how it's going to go into next week. But once we have completed this new system, we will be launching it. With that, there's a second part of our news. We'll also be launching a whole new format for the PeerPlays website, which is going to give some more up-to-date information. It's a much different design. It's so beautiful. I can't believe how awesome it is. I'm very excited to see it come out. And we're also going to be introducing information regarding the sports betting application. And this in itself is worthy of having its own website because there's so much information on it. There's so many amazing things about it. And this is going to help everybody to better understand the PeerPlays blockchain and its capabilities and how decentralized applications, dApps, will be possible on the PeerPlays blockchain. So these are all things that are going to be coming about in the next week. And with that, we also have our Loney, who is going to be traveling at that time into India and China, where he is going to be talking to various groups who are interested in the PeerPlays project to introduce them to it. So with all this combined, plus some other things that we've got lined up for next week, we're going to have, we're expecting that these changes are going to turn things around in regards to the public crowd sale, and we'll see it kick off in a much more exciting way. So that's pretty much what's happening. That's what's happened in last week. And I think that's about it for now. So if there's anybody who has questions, I'll field them for now since we don't have Michael here with us today. And that's all. Thank you very much, everybody.
72%. I just really quick want to ask you before anybody asks you any questions, where did you get 72% from? That's a scary number.
Just recently, if you go to bitcoin.com, news.bitcoin.com, Cambridge study was done, which did basically a lay of the land of where Bitcoin is at in the world. If I recall some of the other statistics, there was approximately 2.3 million Bitcoin users in the world, like individual users. There's approximately something like 10 or 15 million wallets. There are, or accounts anyway. There is 72% was the number, though, for people who didn't have their own, didn't have access to their own private keys. And then there were other statistics that broke down, of those numbers, like how many, how many of the providers actually provided those keys and so forth. I'll provide a link after this, but the Cambridge study is very interesting. It certainly gives a very good overview of what the pulse of where Bitcoin is at currently, and it certainly helped us to, at least helped me to be able to, look at this and say, well, okay, if we're dealing with literally like 18% of what's left, that's not going to help us very much, right? So, and of course, I've been fielding pretty much most of all the support calls. I'd say that probably 9 out of 10 of the support calls are people who, for the first time ever, trying to open their own wallet with a private key. They don't understand what the private key is, and I'm basically just telling them all the same thing over and over again about what private keys are and why they're important to holding their Bitcoin. And even at the end of it all, they're only doing it to be able to contribute to PeerPlays, and they're really not interested in holding their own private keys. So, I think that this is something that can only be changed through some kind of dramatic event. Unfortunately, however, that if that dramatic event occurred, it would be disruptive, not necessarily for the service provider, but for Bitcoin and digital currencies as a whole. But that's, in the interest of delivering ease of use, the industry as a whole has moved towards that in order to gain further adoption. And we also, as we know from other projects like BitShares, that this is something which has always been debated in regards to how far do you go in regards to security versus ease of use. And these questions are tough to tackle when you're dealing with blockchain. Today, though, we've got new technologies that are making it easier. We did launch our testnet last week, and we had it go down for a short period of time. And after that, though, we got the issue fixed. And this past week, people have been playing rock paper scissors. They've been setting up tournaments. I understand that actually somebody the other day was talking about wanting to set up a big 20-player rock paper scissors tournament. So that's pretty exciting. People who are looking at this are really enjoying the ease of use that we have introduced into the wallet. It's a beautiful design. If you want to check it out, highly recommend going to peerplays.com, and you can see in the upper right-hand corner it says Test Network, and you can open an account and check it out.
Would there be a role for the Trezor in making it easier for your users, and maybe a joint effort with Trezor? I
have been exploring this possibility. The development involved in it is pretty extensive, and it requires a fairly sizable investment. How many people would be interested in purchasing specifically for using it with the network is questionable. We're still trying to field more data as to the interest in that. However, I can tell you that we've been looking less at Trezor and more at Ledger. The Ledger series of wallets looks to be more in line with ease of use, and also still walks the line of security for the end user. So we're certainly looking at that. But in regards to, again, the question of how many people really are going to use it really determines the investment that's going to be involved in getting something like that out there.
Thank you.
Are you open for questions at the moment?
I'll do my best to answer.
Do you have a bug bounty for the testnet phase, or no?
Bug bounty.
Yeah, bug bounty. Nothing formal has been formulated. We've kind of talked about it back and forth a bit. It's something in the early days that we did talk about as a possibility. There's really nothing formal at the moment. If we see people who are making efforts to find bugs and report them and help to fix them and so forth, we'll certainly take notice and to reward people who do contribute to that extent. But there's nothing formal. There's no formal process in place currently.
Cool. Thanks, man.
Herp is asking here, will Dash or F be added as an option to donate?
So with our new format, we did have the opportunity to actually consider taking other currencies. Because of the new format, it would make it irrelevant in regards to what we take in. However, it would also complicate how our current format works and the cost involved in getting it all recoded. So the answer is that we decided to simply stick with Bitcoin. It's clearly something which is liquid for everybody. It's not because we have anything for or against other networks. We did consider Dash at one point earlier on. We were thinking maybe it's a good idea, but it's again, we've already established our format, and for the sake of expediency, considering the period of time we have left in the crowdfund and the amount of work it's taking us to get this whole recoding of the new format, we simply decided to stick to Bitcoin to keep it simple for everybody. I'd like to talk a little bit about something we did the other day, actually. We sent out an image that was related to PIVX. I don't know how many of you noticed it, but essentially it talked about how PIVX and PeerPlays and what would it mean for PIVX. And in the image, it talked about some of the benefits, and a lot of it related to the profit sharing aspect of PeerPlays. I think at large of all the features that PeerPlays offers, this is probably the one that is the most powerful and the most interest to other digital currencies that are out there. Any of them like Monero, Dash, Ethereum even, they can all, if PeerPlays supports these digital currencies, this will instantly give every one of those digital the capabilities to have gaming for their currency, which means much more volume. It means much more distribution, and it means it also means that their holders will increase in value. So for people who are holders of Monero or Expanse or NXT or whatever the digital currencies are out there, if when the PeerPlays blockchain launches, if there's a consensus to include these digital currencies based on demand, based on the voting weight of the PPY holders, then we could see these types of currencies being included as part of the network. Because of course, we don't want to have just any currency, suddenly pop up on the network and then just have this series of, weeds in the network that are just taking up all kinds of space and not really providing any value. We believe that it's important that everything that the PeerPlays blockchain provides comes with value. That demonstrates a measurable value and is not just something that I guess just takes up space. It becomes spam in the eyes of the people that use it. So this campaign we started yesterday was only a test with PIVX. And the results we got were quite interesting. It certainly is something that we're going to continue to pursue with other digital currencies because I don't think they all know what the PeerPlays blockchain and its launch means for their own digital currencies. And if they're smart, they would consider working with the PeerPlays blockchain so that they could have more voting weight and see their own Monero or Dash or Expanse or PIVX being used in PeerPlays, and thus gaining access to potentially millions of users. And of course, the profit sharing system being able to distribute their coin globally to a much wider audience than the current digital crypto echo chamber currently supports.
Custom Miner said Gridcoin, and I'm not trying to shamelessly plug, but I will say they have a huge community, and they're all people who tend to have a lot more computational capacity than normal everyday people. So I'm just going to say that they might be right. But with that said, I'll just step back. Is there anything that anybody has that they'd like to say, or any questions that you'd like to ask? We're getting up on about the 20-minute mark, so I'd like to wrap up, but if we can close it off with if there's anything else that hasn't been covered.
I'd like to say something about PeerShares. I think it's going to be quite cool utilizing like machine learning on past games that have occurred, seeing if there's like certain trends and how users play rock paper scissors, for example. I'm looking forward to woo.
Yeah, we're quite excited about the analytics aspect of it. And the good news is because it's all because it is a blockchain, it is provably fair. You can be assured that the data that's being delivered is true and accurate. So anybody looking at it doesn't have to worry about it potentially being lost or manipulated.
I bet you can count on a lot of people as things ramp up going through and doing the data mining just to verify that in fact that claim is true. And that's good for everybody.
I was thinking that the game's over, your names are shown, that way you've got no competitive edge over someone else, but both people pay for that advantage.
Sorry, I don't know if that was just me, but you cut out for most of what you said, and I didn't understand exactly what you were getting to.
Oh, right. So we were saying, like, you could use machine learning for predicting what their next move could potentially be. If you were able to have, like, a stealth game, so you didn't know who you were playing against until the end of the game, for an extra fee, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, there's certainly that possibility. We spend a lot of time thinking about these types of things in regards to the games and the game theory that goes behind them and the statistical probabilities of having an advantage. A lot of people, sometimes they look at rock, paper, scissors and they think, well, this is just so simple. It's, ridiculous. But the innovation that we've introduced in it is a real-time play. But also, because of rock, paper, scissors, the possibility of running up to play somebody to beat them statistically becomes improbable. Though, like you said, with some machine learning, you could probably have a machine try to predict what types of moves they're going to make. But this is PeerPlays. The reason it's called Peer is because it's peer-to-peer, and we certainly are not interested in looking for ways to have bots and computers playing people. People are not inspired by that. People want to play people, and everything that we're looking to do in that regard is what PeerPlays blockchain we hope will focus on.
How will you be able to make sure that bots can't run, though? That's an interesting proposition there, that to try and exclude them. How do you do that?
This all comes down to game theory. You can't necessarily stop, per se. There's always going to be a way. What you want to do, though, is essentially make it untenable for the person running the bot to make it profitable for them. So there are ways to design the game so that the statistical probabilities are not in their favor any more than if they played themselves. So if they were to, say, run a bot to play rock, paper, scissors against people, they're just as likely to lose with a bot as they were if they played themselves. So that would not really, at the end of the day, they wouldn't have gained anything from running such an operation. But really, it comes down to is a lot of game theory and making it not an opportunity for someone to want to run things like that. Only when there is some kind of profit motive that is identifiable that people seek to run things like that, like bots that do market making, or bots that will play poker games, for example, are very well known in the industry now. Many poker players themselves have stepped back and just simply started using advanced bots to play poker games. And this is, as the rest of the industry is kind of grappling with this by having thousands of workers literally sitting there and trying to ban users that appear to be these bots from their accounts. Of course, that's not something that we're ever going to be doing with the PeerPlays blockchain, but these are all issues to be tackled. And the good news is that when the PeerPlays blockchain launches, there's a consensus mechanism to allow for everybody to respond to these types of things, where in other blockchains you have no method to reasonably assess and to reasonably execute on changes that to respond to matters like this.
Cool.
Well, we're running a little bit over. I didn't want to close this off without some questions being answered, though, some extra questions from the community. Real quick, how do people contact you if they are interested in helping out, or if there's any questions that they can't get at the PeerPlays website itself?
So it's a really good idea to get in contact with Robin. She is our outreach coordinator. I'm sure you've seen some of our recent videos. We published a video for the testnet where Robin walks through and shows you a little bit about what it's about. She would be the good person to contact, and she is directly reachable through all of our social media channels, Facebook, Twitter. They are our primary channels. And of course, there is our Rocket Chat, and there's our Telegram group. I would suggest getting into the Telegram group because that seems to be where most of the discussion is taking place. You can join the group at PeerPlays. Really easy. Just go to @PeerPlays in Telegram, and you can join the group and be able to get in on the discussions. Robin is there also. So these are ways that I would recommend reaching out to connect with us. Robin is very responsive, so she'll certainly get back to anybody who has any inquiries. Aside from that, you can send an email to powerup@peerplays.com, or you can go to peerplays.com and different ways that you can reach us. And you could also put in your email to get our news updates that we send out in emails. There's also PeerPlay/news where official announcements are made. And there's, of course, the Steam blockchain. So if you go to steemit.com, you can find PeerPlays at PeerPlays.
Thank you, as always, Data. And thank you for everybody who's helping the PeerPlays project. They've been here since pretty much day one, being very transparent, like very few projects, on a level that very few projects reach. So I really appreciate it and look forward to future updates and watching this crowd sale after you've made some of these changes that are going to make it easier for the 72% of people who don't have their own private keys. Which, if you're new, I'm not trying to laugh about it too much, but it is very dangerous not to have control of your own private keys. Just something for everybody to be aware of. If you don't hold your own private keys, you don't necessarily really hold your own Bitcoin or cryptocurrency. With that said, we're going to move on to CM Steam is here today to give us an update on what's going on in the Gridcoin community. They also have a Hangout, a Beyond Bitcoin Gridcoin community Hangout. They are kind of part of a partner with us, and they hold their own Hangouts and provide updates and do very similar things to what the BitShares community does. So I'm sure he'll tell you guys a little bit more about that. and he'll give you guys some updates on what's going on in the Gridcoin community. So with that said, CM, you there?
Hey, can you hear me all right? Yeah.
Yes. For anybody who hears me, I'm going to be referring CM Steam as Custom Miner within Mumble. So Custom Miner and CM Steam are the same.
Cool. Excellent. If I'm backing up, please let me know. I'm on terrible countryside internet. Anyways, moving on. So I'll go through a bunch of different topics with a bunch of information. So I'll start off with I'm Custom Miner from the Gridcoin community. Since the 200th episode of Beyond Bitcoin, about 3 weeks ago when I last attended, the Gridcoin price has increased from 597 Satoshis to 981, which is an increase of 64%. The price is held above 900 for about 11 days at this point, which is pretty awesome. Moving on to the next topic. With regards to Hangout / community, the Gridcoin community has continued regularly holding Hangouts. We're holding our next Hangout on the 15th of April, tomorrow, at 9 p.m. GMT. That's our 28th episode. Everyone's welcome to come. You post, topics similar to the Beyond Bitcoin kind of RSVP system. We'll discuss it transparently. We've interviewed the project administrator from TNGrid a couple of days ago. TNGrid is an Italian university volunteer supercomputer primarily used for gene research. So that's brought the quantity of interviews we've held to 7 out of the 27 whitelisted projects. A couple of those are still waiting to be edited and uploaded, but it shouldn't be too long. We've now got approximately 93 tasks being tracked and worked upon by community members. This is up 10 from the last time I attended, so we're constantly creating new tasks, and anyone can help out. It can be small, tweet this, to something big like develop that. You know what I mean? Bounties. So Startail has begun creating these weekly Gridcoin news bulletins, basically on Steemit. Just weekly updates on what's going on in the Gridcoin and Boink world, news and statistics. So check that out. Subscribe to them on Steemit. Okay, next topic. Projects that have been removed from the Gridcoin whitelist. So we use a whitelist basically saying, the community has voted these projects in, but trusted will reward their users within Team Gridcoin. So we removed Atlas, which is, Large Hadron Collider stuff. The reason for this is the project is retiring, the research being done in that project to one of their sister Boink projects. Basically, they're consolidating projects. They had like 3, now they only have 1, so it's much easier for Discovery at Home. It's unfortunate. The reason for this is some drama related to Sonum.io. It's their, kind of decentralized distributed computing project that's got an ICO that's starting tomorrow. So, they're basically like originally the Boink project, Drug Discovery at Home, was quite tied to Sonum, and recently they decided to, keep them separate, and in doing so, they pissed off a couple of the Boink project administrators that were in Drug Discovery at Home. They were citing stuff regarding contracts and stuff, so there's ongoing drama. It's be added back into the whitelist. Have to campaign for it, you know what I'm saying? Enigma at Home has been removed, on it to be removed from the whitelist. So Enigma at Home was used to crack the last remaining Enigma codes. So the reason for this is that we have a lack of available work units. We, the Boink community, may have cracked all of the remaining Enigma codes. If you know anyone that's managed to, grab a couple of Enigma codes in the past, give that guy a shout. Maybe, we could discover some extra crazy stuff that's gone on in the past. Anyways, it's awesome that they've, achieved though. That's the ultimate reason that Boink exists, to, do scientific research, or it's also a distributed computing platform itself. But anyways, I digress. Moving on, with regard to services, Gridcoin accepted at 12 stores via coinpayments.net. That's up 5 stores since 3 weeks ago. So if you're using coin payments, please do consider accepting Gridcoin. If you know anyone that uses coin payments, likewise, try and get them to add it. That'd be pretty cool if you did. I have requested open.grc price feed support within btsbots.com so that our community can begin providing liquidity with ease on the BitShares network. Hopefully we'll be able to provide liquidity between, all of the main trading pairs. That'd be pretty cool. I'm a big fan of BitShares. Gridcoin Stats has since the last Hangout continued to improve. Some of the changes that they made are a fancier address scheme used throughout the website, so it's more ergonomic. Search functionality, you're able to search for transactions, addresses, blocks, you name it. Nicer graphs is pretty cool. You can see the value of Gridcoin, all this stuff related to, BOINC projects. Detailed average performance per project for specific computer architectures, so you can figure out what project's best for my computer, user host details, what's this user that's got this massive magnitude, what's his computer, and improved Steemit integration. So now the website's monitoring more than 27 Steemit tags, so if anything's posted in there, it immediately gets put up on Gridcoin Stats, which is pretty cool. Right, moving on, bounties. There's the 200,000 Gridcoin bounty for the removal of the mandatory team requirement, which involves scaling from the current approximately 12,000 users to between 250,000 and 4 million users. So the first number, 250,000, it's a rough estimate between, like, some websites will say there's only 250,000 people actively using BOINC, and then other websites will say 500,000. So, I think computers come and go, and these BOINC statistics websites irregularly, update these statistics. It's pretty hard to track. But regardless, there's 4 million registered users. We only reward 0.5% of the BOINC community, and we're number one. We got 100,000 hosts within Team Gridcoin. So just the sheer amount of computing power within the BOINC community is just... so when we remove the team requirement, that'll be an awesome scaling problem we'll have to deal with. Regards to development news, so about 3 weeks ago, we had about 2 weeks ago, we had a mandatory Gridcoin client upgrade. So the latest version that you should be on is 3.5.8.8. So this is required to fix issues with syncing. The mandatory upgrade block is passed, and the network has been fully stable for over, I think we're coming up to like 2 weeks at this point, or well, a week and a half, probably more roughly. So its services and exchanges are returning to normal operation. Funnily enough, during this kind of small instability period, our price rose. So that 60%, it's like, normally you'd think that in a time of instability, we're weird like that. Next, we've got a new branching strategy, development, staging, and master, basically trying to keep new development changes isolated and away so that, developers can work on stuff without potentially affecting what's going on in production. The next version is ready for beta testing. It's available in PPA format, so, we've got a testnet up and running if you want to help out. We've updated Hungarian translations. In fact, we're also looking for Chinese translations, both Mandarin and Cantonese. If anyone knows anyone that's interested in translation work, that'd be great. There's more than likely a bounty in it for you. You'd probably best come up with, a price or quote if you're interested. I've begun creating custom net data chart plugins for Gridcoin. So net data is a really cool bit of software. Basically, like, you run 2 commands and you've got a real-time monitoring solution you can access via your web browser for pretty much any Linux distro. So this enables monitoring the Gridcoin client, kind of blockchain information in real time. So you can open up tabs of 7 different, Gridcoin clients, different users, and immediately see, all right, everyone's on the same block, and so I'm on the same block, so there's no forking issues or whatever. This is something that we created whilst we had the kind of instability and the mandatory upgrade period, so just so that we could coordinate better. A user was asking, what tool is this? It's net data. It's fully open source. It's on GitHub. It takes like 5 minutes to set up. It's awesome. Member has created Gridcoin rain meter widget for monitoring Gridcoin stats on the desktop. So rain meter is like, you've got cool weather widgets and what have you on your desktop. So that's pretty awesome. And lastly, BitShares Hangout appearances. So I spoke on the 14th BitShares Hangout regarding my BitShares BOINC project ideas. Give it a listen if you haven't done so yet. It's pretty cool. It was received quite well. So yeah, thanks for listening to my... thanks for listening to me. Does anyone have anything to ask about BOINC, Gridcoin, distributed computing?
I have a question, but I'm going to hold off in case somebody has any specific questions about Gridcoin.
Oh, Pepperino just made a good point. We just passed 100 subscribers on YouTube. Woo! We've now got a custom Earl on YouTube. Yeah. Milestone complete.
Put up the gold star, baby.
Yeah.
Anything to keep you going, you know what I mean?
Definitely, yeah. So yeah, any questions, guys?
Well, I will say this. It's stunning to me that there's always so much going on in the Gridcoin community, and I'm waiting for the moment that that you guys end up going to the valuation I suspect you should be at. Because you guys, the fact that you're doing everything the way that you're doing it as a community, and hearing the developers have the way that they're doing things, it's you guys are on top of your games. Let's just say that. And meanwhile, there's other projects out there that can do similar things like Golem, and they're valued very high. I'm just waiting for something like Gridcoin to be there, because you guys have a lot behind you, and it's like its own iceberg, really.
Yeah, with Golem is that you're limited to what their platform's capable of doing, whereas with Boink you can distribute literally any computation task. If you want to distribute, TensorFlow, Apache Spark, anything, you can do it. Whereas with Golem to a distributed video rendering, we had that in the form of Burp, but no one was using it, so I don't really got that much potential in that one project. I was quite hyped up because it's related to Ethereum, and they did an ICO, so it had that initial money backing it, that initial value above us. I think it's worth looking out for the big milestones that in the Gridcoin community, like the removal of the mandatory team requirement. That's a huge scaling potential, there. And potentially, if we're able to establish a Gridcoin for computation market, potentially through one of the Gridcoin pools, that would also be a big a way that we could immediately Golem,
Yeah, have you guys considered regarding the you said it was the medication? I'm sorry. The project that's working on specifically finding medications and things like that. Isn't that what it is? Drugs.
Yeah, there's a couple like that, like World Community.
Thank you. Well, you said that there was something with an ICO. So I'm assuming there's another coin.
So that was drug discovery at home. That was I mentioned that it's been removed from the whitelist. They had the drama ongoing, so potentially the Boink project itself is in a state of flux for now until the drama is over. But the Sonum.io project, I think the ICO is actually starting tomorrow. I'm not sure how that's going to tie in with Gridcoin anymore. I think it's a direct competitor with Gridcoin and Golem. I don't know. It's a wee bit sketchy with what happened with drug discovery.
I find myself wondering if having something like a GRC branded BitShares kind of interface or BitShares exchange wallet, right, where all the tokens. You remember how we talked about the sub token idea? I wonder if those ideas would allow people to start building things like that and having their own token, and maybe tokenify their own token and then trade it for GRC.
So we did create. I did create like a Gridcoin specific web GUI view for the BitShares like web wallet client. It would be cool if it was easier to switch between skins or favorite looks, so you could share a config file for your, say, the Gridcoin community to use and plug into the BitShares wallet, and then it would just show our view and our favorite market pairs or whatever. But with regards to like Boink project specific tokens issued on BitShares, I think that's totally a thing that could happen. But the thing is, we got to slowly monetization of Boink computation and Boink accounts specifically. If we were to say to distribute a user issued asset against every Boink account for all historical computation, we monetize we create an incentive for a hacker to hack like 4 million accounts. There are some glaring kind of security problems within the Boink community, not like exploit wise. You can't have, it's not a remote exploit or anything like that, but in terms of security practices, reuse of passwords, account keys, these sort of things, two-factor authentication requirements. These are things we're really chasing up. We're trying to get the BOINC community talking about these. Unfortunately, the mandatory team requirement makes us look like an enemy within the BOINC community, as opposed to something that everyone can use. So when we remove the mandatory team requirement, that kind of thing will go. We'll have easier communications between all the teams. We won't be this outsider attacking their community. We'll be like, the community that helps pay for every single team's computation, But yeah, and as soon as these issues are solved and issuing a user-issued asset doesn't put BOINC projects, in strain of like attack or whatever, I'll be doing that. That'd be pretty awesome. Would you like to recruit a couple 100,000 users to BitShares with a single user-issued asset? Yeah.
Yeah, and well, I just think that it might be a release valve, you know what I mean? Like, because a lot of these projects, for obvious reasons, they go, I can create my own coin and I can leave this ecosystem and make, a couple $1 million because the market will pay for it just because it's a coin. But the thing is, if they can go and do the same thing but not have to leave the ecosystem, that's better. Just a thought. And I know that you make some good points about maybe fixing some things with the user interface to make it so it's easier to be skinned, or to change some of those various things to make it like a white label kind of wallet. Maybe they can talk about that a little bit at the BitShares Hangouts. What I was going to ask you on another project, on other stuff though, would be the BOINC BitShares projects. And have you received any input? Where do you feel like that stands?
Well, the Hangout, the BitShares Hangout, the 14th episode, it was quite well received. It felt like, I think it was Chris, you asked about, how much does this cost? And pretty much said it's pretty much free apart from the hosting requirements, or the cost of creating a user-issued asset and distributing it, the fees and stuff. So, it would be great if we got some more feedback in the BitShares talk thread. But I think it's something that would probably get more traction, more attention even, when the next, stress test phase comes around.
Sounds good.
Well, so I could bring it back up in the future, for sure.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested to see, and I also want to say congratulations on these continued hangouts and everything that you guys are doing. I see that you're starting to do project like BOINC interviews, right?
Yeah, totally. So it's trying to find out, what's the history of your BOINC project? What is it that your project does? Are there any tips and tricks for increasing the amount of computation we can do? What do you think of Gridcoin, this and that? So, it's something that hasn't existed within the BOINC community. There hasn't been like BOINC podcasts and stuff. And, in the past, what people think of Gridcoin, as, again, it's all about the team requirement and stuff like that, whether or not projects will play nice with us or because they want to be like team neutral, they in the past have been hesitant. But it's good that we're building up traction. We've got seven projects that have already done it. I think there will be more in the future as well. So give them a listen. They're pretty cool.
Heck yeah, man. I look forward to the SETI at home interviews.
That'll be good. That's a big milestone. All right, cool. If there's no other questions, thanks for having me. Cheers.
Well, real quick, my question is, how do people contact you or reach out to you guys if they want to join into the community and kind of get plugged into what's going on?
Primarily, we're on CryptoCoin Talk. That's our forums. And also IRC on Freenode, hashtag Gridcoin. There was over 100 people in the Gridcoin channel. There's a couple other, additional channels we got going on there with loads of bots and stuff. We've got Telegram. We're on Steemit, Reddit. Check out the Gridcoin tag on Steemit. There's loads of content there. So probably IRC is the best bet to get to people.
And I will say that you guys post to the Beyond Bitcoin tag. I see you have a very active community who's posting updates on Gridcoin there. And I upvote them quite often. So I would urge anybody in Beyond Bitcoin community to upvote those people's work because they are genuinely working and trying to bring value to the space on the actual protocol level at times, and building on top. We're getting into that technical area, but I won't go too far into that. But there are a lot of people who are doing some good work, so I just ask to support them and use the tools we have available. So with that said, thank you, CM Steam.
Cheers.
Yes, thank you to the Gridcoin community. I look forward to more and more work with you guys. I knew from the days that I saw that you guys had on the website DACs, decentralized autonomous companies and corporations, and I was thinking, yeah, these people were here right around the time of BitShares, and it's kind of interesting how that's worked out, hasn't it?
Definitely, yeah.
Well, up next is going to be Virtual Growth. Virtual Growth is going to be talking about a few things, but I will say that he's always providing updates with multiple different projects because he kind of dips his toes into many different ponds, and then he knows how to tie all of the fish from those ponds together to the communities surrounding the areas. So I'm going to let him walk on through with his wagon and talk a little bit about what he's doing. Are you there, Virtual Growth?
Nope, but just about ready. Where's there?
Are you?
Okay, I'm here.
Are you?
I'm being
here
silly
with
as
fish?
always.
Are you here with fish from the local ponds?
Something like that. Whatever that means. I'm here.
Let's start the fire and begin.
Fire, that's one of my loves. I was in the Boy Scouts for 8 years. 1 year, I might as well start. Sorry, I was in the Boy Scouts. I was in a junior leadership training called Indaba. We were there for a week where we took turns leading the group and learning how to lead and whatnot. And during the week, we had a water polo fight, and somebody was tall, and I sparked the ball away from them because we were like the kids versus the adults. And they attacked us and whatnot, but it was fun. But we made a big fire, and because the reservation said we could use their wood, so we used all of it, and we made a fire that was 8 feet tall, and that 8 feet tall was the wood itself, not the fire. The fire was huge, and the next camp over set off their fire alarms, and they came over and they asked us not to do that again, and we never did. But it was a lot of fun. In life, explore your passions, love them. So that's what I try to do in life.
To be a child pyro again.
No, that never goes away. I just can't talk about it. And as an adult, go figure. Or a child. That's all right. So, in numerous projects, I made a post about greetings to Steam It, inspired by Papa Pepper, who is always helping people, as many of us do, and he actually greets new users and gives them Steam and then shares a little logo. And he also did his wildcard experiment and many other things. He had finding snakes, and when he does, he's actually sharing snakes on his comments, and when you find them, he awards you Steam. And a lot of people are exploring these gamifications. That's kind of like creating a token like we do with BitShares on the Steam blockchain with our creativity. And with numerous tokens, I'm continuing to work with Task Manager, Instructor 2121, Pear Mike, Mr. Wang, and others. A few of them have given me tokens such as Task Manager, Steam Factory, and PP Bits. PP Bits is for a prize portal. Task Manager is expanded into doing posts and offering prizes to people. You can read more about it through his links, so Task Manager and Prize Portal Steam It names. Pair Mike as Steam Factory. You can check out anyone can get tokens for Steam Factory by simply checking out Steam Factory on Steam It and voting on the posts and leaving your BitShares username. That is a mining operation. He's using his own mining equipment and donating the earned tokens for the different cryptocurrencies that are being mined throughout the week, which he does for 6 days. And the 7th day provides a report, which is on Sundays. I'm giving those tokens away in my giveaway, which I give market updates of the tokens that are included. I also do Steam and thinking of including BitShares and noticing improving volumes in numerous tokens and assets, user issued and market pegged over the past 3 weeks especially. So there's a little more trading and liquidity starting to build up in some of those, which has definitely been a concern. We've been wondering about possible trading contests and whatnot, which I thought about doing as well. And I might do an asset to do some type of trading contest. I'm just not sure exactly how, but continue to explore ideas. I have a meeting with somebody about a possible game using BitShare assets. as people learn how to use different APIs and programming to do these things. And for the people that I had meetings with, some of them I missed. Some days I'm actually very tired, even though I appear to be doing a lot. I had meningitis a little over a year ago, and some days are a little challenging. But I strive on to challenge myself more, as I always have. When I was in the Boy Scouts, I made it all the way to Eagle Scout. And by challenging yourself, that helps your mind. Having a traumatic brain injury, I actually reached out to someone on Steam that had a traumatic brain injury as well, and they actually thanked me for the comments themselves, and that helped uplift them spiritually. And that's a big deal in life, and something I explore philosophy and whatnot as well. And I wonder how to tokenize that as the idea of a philosophical entrepreneur, which is one of the ideas that I think about in the back of my head. Overall, through all these explorations of learning and discovering, and with Steam Prentice was in the initiative started by Psycho Chica as a way for people to be mentors and apprentices together and learning through the different ways of using Steam. We had many users that started out as a rep of 25. We helped them with formatting their posts, marketing their posts, getting new users using other channels such as Facebook, Twitter to find more followers and gaining more exposure. And I'd like to continue doing that. I started a new group in Discord for Steam Prentice. You can find the link in a recent post. We also on Steam at Chat, where we have 300 members. The Discord channel has about 24. They're not as active as they used to be, but people are welcome to ask questions and answer them. Psycho Chica is still there, Fuzzy, but she's busy, so she's not very active lately because she's just been busy with other things. She moved and whatnot, kind of big changes in life, changes direction. That happens for all of us. And as far as meetings, I had a few meetings this week I didn't make to. Just reach out to me and I'll meet up with people again, and constantly in the back doing things which I enjoy. And I'll pause for a moment if anybody has any questions, feedback, concerns, or anything else they'd like to talk about. A few other things I'll mention because I purchased some Steam accounts. I might as well mention that now. They were gold coins and silver coins and Steam tokens and vitamins and nutrients, which are different passions of mine. So I'm thinking of just starting other accounts and providing more information to teach people and to continue learning about things. And the beauty of it is earning Steam for all these things and earning bit shares as well, doing the different tokens and trading and whatnot. So I look forward to continuing all these different things with everyone else in the great crypto spaces that we are. And I'm done for the moment for people to speak.
You said you got a vitamins and nutrients account name?
Yes. Steam account name vitamins and Steam account name nutrients to write about vitamins and nutrients. And if other people want to, we people Steam to do that, to help people with helpful knowledge, which I have
that would probably be something we can explore with my Get Fit or Die Trying videos.
Oh, yes, very much so. And I actually, when I was in school, I took biology and chemistry, anatomy and physiology and microbiology and so on and so forth. And I know a lot about that stuff. And I've studied the nutrients that were used by Bruce Lee and a man that lived for one of the longest living men. He passed away last century. Most people don't know about him. He lived for 250 at least years to potentially 350 years. He became an herbalist at the age of, it's all very interesting.
Yeah, no, that's something that I wanted to dive into, was the that part, that the nutrients and like just basically putting stuff into your body and stuff, aside from the working out. So that is something that we could probably take advantage of.
Yeah, let's definitely do it. Yes, Paparino. What is that? 300 years. I'll find that information and provide it next week. It's a great story. And as I mentioned before, I got meningitis a little over a year ago, and 1 in 6 people don't make it. I am very fortunate to be alive, and it's very important to eat well for me in my life at this point. And because I have all that knowledge, it's helped me a lot. And fitness is definitely something I've explored, and I have an auntie who's a bodybuilder. She actually has trophies, so I have that type of knowledge too.
Sweet.
Yeah, so we'll definitely do this away. More projects together. I look forward to it.
Man, I'm just stacking up the video ideas.
Yes, we are ideas people. I'm a thinker.
Yeah, that's what I really like, is I just really just bounce off of you, and something new comes to me. I'm like, oh, let's try this.
Yeah, exactly. We'll see where we end up. That's why I was happy to make the a token to help you out and we'll help each other out and see how things go in the long term. Anybody have any questions, ideas, anything else?
I would like to know some updates on Wang change and how you guys are working on that.
Mr. Wang, you want to go ahead?
Well, what you guys are doing, like you're helping him too, right? With some stuff.
Yes, of course. We talk a bunch of times throughout the week.
Yeah, like basically, like just like I was saying, man. Like me and him just go back and forth, bouncing ideas off each other. It's like I'm writing a script or something, and I'm just throwing. And he's like, I got one right there, and we'll take that idea and run with it. And before you know it, we have tokens now, you know, and we have a lot of different ideas that I think are going to be really valuable to present to everybody, to offer everybody. As far as wing change, man, I'm really starting to see a lot of people are really interested in looking for it. It's really hyped up. I'm glad that it's a fan coin now, and people actually want part of it. Just people are really digging deep, and participating in every single post that I make now just to get in on it. It's really building hype. I'm using it to set up what could bring in some of my fellow actors and entertainers and artists who are mainstream with huge followings, clothing lines. I mean, it's crazy.
Are you saying that one of these days Snoop Dogg's going to be wearing a Steam shirt?
I could say yeah, man. My homie. He's a rapper. He's all over Cali and Texas, and he's huge. And he mentioned me the other day in one of his videos, like, hey, I need my boy Wally back on some of my skits. And when I saw that, I was like, I haven't worked with him in a while, but I can put a call out to all my people and go ahead and start hitting up his YouTube videos and say, hey, hurry up and work with Wally. And it's starting to get out there. So, that's me trying to make my effort to cross over into the celebrity and entertainment, and grab those people.
You're leveraging your network, and virtual growth helped you with by creating with the idea with Wang Sense, right?
Yes, sir. That and then that led to Little Wings.
Of course, it led to Little Wings.
And I'm even developing a character called Little Wing, which is a parody of the rapper Little Wayne.
Nice.
You feed me, man. You can feed me breadcrumbs, and I'll come out fine. I'll come out with a loaf of bread, man.
That's good, man.
That's just how I roll.
So, are there any other projects, virtual growth, that you're working with? I know that Steam Factory is one of them. Any other ones that you're seeing like a lot of progress on their own, that you're not having to do a lot of work yourself? You're just kind of there helping, maybe working with the people.
It's just behind the scenes. Whoever asked me for help.
Gotcha. Any of them that have you like kind of like, oh, this is going to be very interesting?
Not at the moment. Nothing that I have word of, although there's a few possibilities, and I'll leave it at that. Keep everybody in suspense, including myself.
Man, I just gave you a chance to plug ShareBits in the Beyond Bitcoin forums, and you didn't even do it. Shame on you.
You did, but that's your job. You know more about it than me.
Oh, well played.
Everybody else is the expert.
Okay, well, if there's any way of somebody getting a hold of you, as far as like if they want to reach out to talk to you or ask you some questions about what you're doing or how to help you with anything, how would they go about doing that?
You can find me as Virtual Growth on Steemit, BitShares Talk, Discord, and Steemit.chat, and Gmail.
Sounds good, man. Well, thank you as always.
Of course.
Up next is going to be Crypto Hippie is going to be talking today about a project called Peerity.io, and that is PEERITY.io. I'm not the expert on it, though. I've read the white paper and the early stages white paper, but I think that he has some updates for the community, and he'd like to talk about them today. So, Crypto Hippie, are you there?
I think he's in Cambodia now.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
I was just talking in Discord, actually. I think I have the wrong button going. Sorry.
It's
Anyways,
okay, man.
so Peerity.io. We are a blockchain-based activities network, and we have posts that can earn rewards. We have ecom that can, you guys can pull. It's basically linked up with Open Bazaar, but we'll be spending our token. Where you can crowdfund on our site, and you can also host events like meetup style events. So, and there's not much of a distinction between like what we're doing here in Beyond Bitcoin server right now and say a physical meetup where you meet all your crypto buddies at a pizza place. And we're going to incentivize all of that. So anyways, how that works is people are allowed to blog, they're allowed to sell their goods, they're allowed to crowdfund their projects, they're allowed to host events based on different topics that are similar interests to the other users around them. And they create the groups, and the groups can, from there, they could decide how they want to govern themselves, how they want the payout system to work within their group, and what they, obviously the topic of their group as well. So that's kind of what the front end of the site is going to do. We're obviously not there yet. Some of you guys have probably seen the site already, and it's basically just a landing page. But yeah, the way we see this working is, you sign up and you type in a few interests, and those interests pop up with people in your area if you decide to share your location. And you don't have to share your location. You can just blog under that category, or sell goods under that category, or crowdfund a project under that category. But if you want to get more local with it, you can do physical meetups. Or if you want to get international with it, you can have a Mumble server and have a Hangout. And we plan on rewarding all of those things. So on the back, we're a blockchain that is built using the Tendermint consensus algorithm. It's a proof of stake blockchain without as much stake as normal proof of stake blockchains. And yeah, our token for that is going to reward all of the things that I just mentioned, the communities, the e-commerce sales, and all of that stuff. So our token, though, is going to be based on a variable creation rate. So if there's not much activity going on the site, you won't get the entire rewards pool for that day. We do that because introducing currency based off of what people are creating and what people are actually doing seems to be a better model, especially if someday we can map that and predict what each area is capable of producing. Then we have a very good idea of what we can lend out, or not lend out really, but what we can pay out to them. To create events and stuff like that, you can have free events, or you can have paid events. And if it's a paid event, then you would pay a little bit of that back to the chain, and that gets distributed to mostly to token holders, but also to chain upkeep and development. And we have peer servers that run. They are basically validating blocks. They're like steemit witnesses. So how that's going to work is peer servers are people who've been buying peer server, validation keys. And those validation keys allow for them to be basically witnesses in Steam or BitShares terms. So people can, as far as like governance goes, people can buy a vote if they want to, which is going to be not good at all because we want people to vote. In the beginning, we're going to have some control over that, so that because we don't want to lose the chain, basically. And yeah, we plan on rewarding all types of things. And it's really just human interaction that we're rewarding. So it's a different model than we've seen so far. You know, I always say, like, if Steemit made blogging mining, we're going to make human interaction or online interaction as well, I guess, mining on our chain. So it's a pretty new thing that we're doing here. So that's why we think it could be a big success, because we see things like Meetup that are worth a lot of money and charging a lot of money and definitely are not easy to use. And, well, they could be easier. They could be more user-friendly. They could be cheaper. Here you will be able to earn your tokens before you ever have to pay any of that back. You can pay some of it back if you want to start a paid meetup group, and that's basically that. We're going to be doing an ICO. There's a lot of things that we are still figuring out because we just started our alpha today. And those are things that involve governance and involve issuance of tokens and creations of tokens, and, you know, the number of tokens that we create. Since it's variable, we have to find that magic spot. But it's kind of how traditional fiat currency is released, but this actually requires something to be done. When you walk into a bank, they essentially create the money when you want to buy a house, or and this you actually have to have some form of interaction in order for that money to come into existence. So I feel like I'm rambling. If anybody has any questions, I would like to open that up. I've talked to Fuzzy quite a bit about
I have some
where we
questions,
are in this project.
I have some questions, but since you joined up here and this is the first time that you've spoken about this project really, really in depth on here, I wanted to really let you go through the entire presentation of it before I opened my mouth. So that's probably why you've heard such quietness.
I figured.
Talkinator, do you want to ask your question out loud, or do you want me to read it?
Sure, I'll ask it. My question is, what could the tokens be used for, and who do you anticipate would accept the tokens?
Expect people to use the tokens for if they want to sell, let's like Steemit. If you wanted to sell out advertising, you could do that, but you'd have to buy it from the users, and you'd have to buy those tokens from the users. So the users will hold the token. So we anticipate all of those people using and creating new ways of using the token as well. We also Peerity partner locations, and those will be places where meetup groups are hosted. So say, I always use the example of our Ethereum meetup group. It's done at a brewery, and we Peerity would be partnering with that brewery to be a known host of those groups and any groups that wanted to meet up there. So they might say, okay, you're going to get a little bit of a deal if you pay in our token. So that's another way that it could be used.
I like the way that you say that, because that invites, if there's a way of getting it so you can use some of those funds that you earn from Peerity to give cryptocurrency to an actual establishment where meetups are run. That becomes, totally. Yeah. I mean, it's a lot harder to get somebody to take that step and buy cryptocurrency. But if they don't have to buy it,
Right. No, that was kind of one of the things that I saw first at Steemit, was that they didn't have to buy it. They were allowed, we were all allowed to just earn it, and then we got paid out. That's the beauty of Steemit. And we're taking that and expanding it from just blogging to all sorts of new types of interaction.
That really isn't working for Steemit, though. It was the promise and the dream of Steemit, but as far as an average user being able to put $10,000 into cryptocurrency through Steemit, they got to jump through all kinds of hoops. I'd just like to make the suggestion that rather than focus on any kind of meetup, a test case meetup would be a cryptocurrency for newbie meetups, which helps people get into cryptocurrencies in general. And if you can make Peerity work with that, then you have a path to bringing people into cryptocurrency in general. I guess I'd also like to ask the question of, you seem to be agnostic towards what these meetup groups are about. So, what if the most popular meetup groups are for pedophiles or for pro-government people or whatever nefarious kinds of things you might imagine?
Well, like all things in this space, we don't really want to have anything, but if something like that were the most popular thing, which I don't see being the case, but I understand why you're asking the question. I guess we would have to censor them, or we would probably let the communities vote to end that meetup group, or their rewards would go down.
So what do you think about a test meetup type group being cryptocurrency newbies?
I love it. This is actually what I was going to start up for Steemit users before I came out here. And it wasn't just going to be for any sort of testing purposes, but because one of the things that we all need to do in this space is get new people into it. And that's kind of where I find my talent in this space, is explaining it to people. And Steemit has helped a lot with that, because it's something they could see and they can go, oh, well, that made that reward. Or, whether it's like a viable job or not, it's a token that is created to reward people. And I want to teach people about as much as I can. So we've been thinking about running a YouTube video series of some different animations that can kind of teach people about how this is going to work. And I really like the idea of running a test like that. I would probably want to do it not here in SimReap, but I would like to see a lot of test groups pop up like that, and that could happen possibly during our alpha, or once we're in beta, probably would be best.
Did you mention that Mumble, you said something about Mumble, is it going to be in the actual interface where you can open up a Mumble server, or is that something that you guys are talking about, just letting them use their own platform for that stuff and direct people how to use it?
It's a good question. We were not planning on having a Mumble server being able to be pulled up, but any sort of a meetup, a group that comes together and shares interaction with each other, we would like to reward that. And how that would work in a physical setting is maybe with a QR code that somebody scans at, say, my Ethereum meetup in Portland. I would show up, and every person has their own QR code generated by the host and says that they were at the Peerity partner location. And I think we can reward things like what's going on here in Mumble and what's going on Discord all the time, on in actual human interaction as well. Pretty much anything. I mean, you could potentially reward a class that somebody's going to and learning. So there's a lot of different ways that it could go, and that's kind of up to the communities and how the communities want to design that.
And you spoke to the rewards a little bit, but out of curiosity, I think that you mentioned that there would be one driver for the demand, but maybe there are more, and that was advertising. You would pay to advertise on it. Is that correct? First off.
People could choose to do that if they wanted to, but I don't. That's definitely not the one driver.
And what are the other drivers that you might have that would drive the demand for it, so people would want to use them?
Well, like we have the e-commerce stuff. We have, we would like to have basically an open bazaar style decentralized marketplace that can take place inside of our site, and from there that gives the token all sorts of value. You could also convert to Bitcoin and buy gift cards to pretty much anywhere if you're in the States, I guess.
Is that the first? Is that going to be one of the first steps? Is for you guys to have like a little marketplace and then and the meetups?
Yeah, that, and we're also gonna have, like I said, there's blogging on there too, and that's basically just to find your local group or your global group or whatever group you want to be a part of. And we think that people will become part of the groups that reward them the most and they can benefit the most from, and they see that are most fair. I think if there's any group with ill intent, people will move away from that and find a better option or start a better, and that group will become obsolete. So that's another way to kind of rid out the pedophile groups.
I'm just gonna like interrupt on this one. Like the pedophile thing is a big one.
I know.
But
It hurts.
But all jokes aside, there we go. With that, when people ask about that, it kind of makes me wonder if you guys are going to have. I'm assuming the blockchain is going to be holding the data is going to be held in the blocks of like who posted and what they posted. Like if Bob goes on, the pedo goes on, and it's like, I'm going to go. We're having a meeting on 300th and Jefferson. That's there on a blockchain, right?
Okay, well that plays into our favor then.
Yeah, right. I mean, that's so. Me, I guess that's like kind of like a. If they do that, they kind of weed themselves out over time. Is my point on that one.
Exactly. Yeah, and also there will be groups that we're not actually saving locations on the blockchain. We'll be saving the fact that there is a QR code. People won't always be saying where they're meeting up, so that could actually play in Bob the pedophile's favor, which is maybe something that we have to try to work out so that we can, not have that.
I don't know.
Because I don't want Bob the pedophile to be there.
Are you going to have chat on the chain?
Yes. Yep. We will have a probably something similar to. I mean, it's not going to be saved on the chain, but the chain will reward. We're kind of still figuring that stuff out right now. But yeah, we obviously don't want to save anything on the chain that breaches any sort of privacy that we all strive for in this community.
Yeah.
But I think one of the things that really kind of sets us apart from other crypto projects is the fact that no rewards will be distributed at all if there is no activity taking place. So that's pretty cool.
Have you guys considered giving like a bonus when there's low activity?
I have not considered that, Fuzzy, but that is a good idea, and that's why I like to come to places like this, because here we have a community that is into this community, and we're all like-minded people, and we can offer ideas, and it's always like we welcome community input and criticism. It's like we want to change the things that the communities don't want to some extent. And that's why we're giving them control over their communities within our blockchain.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. I just had some. Yeah, I was just gonna open it up to any other questions. If anybody's got anything.
Well, what are you guys? Well, first off, does anybody else have any questions or comments before I go into it?
Like I said, community feedback is awesome because we get to share these ideas with you, see what you guys think, and you guys may influence us to take a different direction or think about something that we have not yet thought about. So I invite everybody to ask questions. We're doing this to help people. If it gets to a point where we're not helping people, that's kind of where I don't want to be part of it. But yeah, so I love community input.
And Bren's working on this project as well, right? Who's on your team, Crypto?
Yeah, but Crypto Hippie seems to not be hearing you. Or I know that Rampant, Menta, and Fadat, I believe, are on the Peerity team.
Check it, Brindle Swan to the rescue.
Bye, Talkinator.
Peace, Talkinator.
All right, you guys there? It's Crypto Hippie. Yeah. I'm Menta. We got Rampant, who is Bryn. We've got Twan, who is our developer. We have No More Jacob, who is Fadat, and we've got that's kind of it right now. And we've got a couple other developers that Bren has brought in.
And have you guys considered? How much it's going to take as far as what you guys are looking to get for the ICO, and if you're going to do multiple phases of it, like PeerPlays did, where you take like a small minimal funding round or maximum funding round, and then get an MVP. How are you guys planning on doing it?
That's all stuff we're still working out right now. Right now, we've been basically selling validator keys, or peer servers is what we're calling them. But in Tendermint, they're validators. So yeah, that's been our basic funding up until this point. And those have been going for 5 Bitcoins, and we've sold right now 15 of them, and when we get to 20, the price will go up, and we haven't decided how much that's going to go up yet, but we're trying to launch the chain with 30 peer servers.
So
I'm gonna put a link in here for stuff that explains how you can become a peer server. We're also, and more than that, obviously, there's different ways that you can join the project. But here, let me drop that real quick. And if anybody else has questions, send them over. Okay, so that's the link right there. We are going to be having an ICO. Right now it's pre-ICO, so we'd be selling 1.5 to 1 Peerity tokens in the pre-ICO. And so you get a better deal if you participate in that. And we're hoping to launch the ICO sometime around the end of July. Question.
I'm looking at the ICO funding.
Yes.
And it says over 500 BTC. It's a launch of the first quarter of 2018. So you guys will move up projections to 2017 fourth quarter if you get over 500 or over 1500 BTC. Have you guys considered making it so people can post to Steam it and places like Reddit and things like that as well?
Well, here's the thing, is like we're rewarding communities. So draw the line at that. We're still working that out. But those are all communities, and those are all essentially online meetup groups. And if people are providing value there,
you want
to be rewarded. We're still kind of figuring.
You got a mic or cable problem there, buddy.
Well, Crypto, how do people reach out to you if they want to get in contact and talk to you a little bit more about this? Can't hear you, bro.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes. All right. So yes, you can visit our site. It's basically a landing page right now. You can join our mailing list, or you can get involved by becoming a peer server if you want. And you can contact me at cryptohippie@peerity.io.
How many peer servers are you guys going to have? Do you guys know yet?
Maximum ever of 300.
And how much are they right now if somebody wants to be one?
Right now they're going for 5 BTC.
Okay.
We've had people that have gone in on them together as well. And we're hoping to have an option for possibly other people to, people like, say, a witness that wants to make a portion of the tokens that would be generated by a validator purchase that doesn't want to buy it, that doesn't want to run the validator. So, they would take a cut of that. Does that make sense? All that makes sense.
Yes, it does.
In my head. Yeah. Anything else that you guys have? I'd love to hear it.
I think we're good to go ahead and start the after party.
After party.
La 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 la.